Hi everyone, welcome to Talk Easy. Today Catherine and Mike will talk about starting conversations effortlessly with idioms like break the ice, small talk, and put someone at ease. Learn how to use these phrases in daily life and discover the history behind break the ice. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, and welcome. We're diving deep today into the art of starting conversations.
Especially in English.
Right. You know those crucial first words that can make or break a connection?
Exactly.
Well, we're going to unlock the secrets to navigating those initial moments.
With grace and confidence.
Absolutely. And get this, we'll be exploring some common idioms that can help you do just that.
And you might be surprised by just how much history and culture
Is packed into these everyday phrases.
It's really fascinating how these seemingly simple expressions,
Can have so much weight in our interactions, right?
yeah, like they're these verbal shortcuts to building rapport.
And setting the stage for deeper connection.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's kick things off with a classic.
Hmm.
Break the ice.
Ah, yes.
Now, I'm guessing most of you have heard this one before,
Probably.
but have you ever stopped to think about where it comes from?
Well, picture this. A ship trying to navigate frozen waters.
Oh,
Way back in the 1600s.
Wow, so long ago.
Yeah, before we had those powerful icebreaker ships.
Oh.
Those icy barriers were a real challenge.
Did communication and trade, I imagine.
You got it.
So breaking the ice is literally about creating a pathway for connection.
Just like those icebreakers cleared a path for other vessels.
I love that analogy. It really brings the idiom to life.
That's a good one.
Now, what about those everyday conversations we have? You know, the kind that might seem small.
But actually played a huge role in building rapport.
Exactly.
You're talking about small talk, right?
Small talk, yep.
It might seem superficial at first glance.
Kind of like, oh, we're just chatting about the weather.
Right, exactly.
But it's a crucial step in many English-speaking cultures.
Very crucial.
Why is that?
Well, in many English-speaking cultures, small talk is a way to signal,
That you're approachable,
yes, and interested in connecting
kind of like dipping your toes in the water
before diving into the deep end.
before you get into those more serious topics.
Yeah.
But for someone who's new to these cultures, navigating small talk can be a little, daunting. What are some strategies that can help?
Well, I think the most important thing is practice.
Practice makes perfect, as they say.
Exactly. Start by mastering some common questions.
Like what?
Well, what do you do for work?
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
Have you seen any good movies lately?
That's a good one.
These are great conversation starters.
Because.
Whoa, they're open-ended.
And they invite the other person to share.
A bit about themselves.
So it's not just about asking the right questions.
Yeah.
It's also about,
Being prepared for the responses.
right, like if someone says, I had a relaxing weekend,
You don't want to just say, oh, that's nice.
and then just stop there.
Right, exactly.
You want to keep that conversation going.
You got it. Have some follow-up questions ready.
Hmm.
What did you do to relax?
Oh,
Or did you do anything fun?
that shows you're genuinely interested.
Exactly. It's all about that back and forth.
That sense of engagement.
That keeps the conversation flowing.
And you know what else can really help lighten the mood?
What's that?
Humor.
Oh, absolutely. A well-placed joke.
Can make everyone feel more comfortable.
It's like adding a dash of spice to the conversation.
I like that, adding a little spice.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about breaking the ice in small talk,
Two important ones.
but there's another idiom that's closely related to those.
Which one is that?
Putting someone at ease.
Ah.
What does that look like in practice?
Okay, imagine you're hosting a party.
Okay, I like parties.
A new guest arrives.
Okay.
You might offer them a drink,
Okay, make them feel welcome.
introduce them to a few people.
Help them feel included.
Exactly. It's all about making someone feel comfortable.
Especially in a new or maybe awkward situation.
Right, exactly.
Now, before we jump into some real-life examples,
All right.
let's quickly touch on a few other idioms.
That are worth adding to your conversational toolkit.
I'm thinking of phrases like making a good first impression,
Ah, yes. That's a crucial one.
warming up to someone,
Well,
and striking up a conversation.
all essential parts of the conversation puzzle.
So making a good first impression is all about,
Setting the right tone.
right from the beginning,
Conveying confidence and approachability.
while warming up to someone describes that process of
Gradually becoming more comfortable.
as you get to know them better.
Like that initial frost melting away.
I like that. The frost melting away
Yeah.
and then striking up a conversation is simply the act of
Initiating that interaction.
taking that first step to connect.
You got it.
All right, so we've laid the groundwork with these key idioms.
The foundation is set.
Now, I'm curious to see how they play out in real life.
Me too.
Are you ready to bring these concepts to life?
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Let's explore how these idioms can help us navigate those different social scenarios.
From meeting new colleagues to mingling at a party.
I'm ready when you are.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's imagine a scenario I think a lot of people can relate to.
Okay.
Meeting new colleagues at work.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's that moment when you walk into a room.
Full of unfamiliar faces.
Right, and you're not quite sure.
How do you even begin?
Yeah, how to break into those conversations that are already happening.
Definitely intimidating.
Especially when everyone seems to already know each other.
It can be tough.
But that's where those ice-breaking skills come in handy.
Right.
Okay, so picture this.
All right, I'm picturing...
Two new colleagues,
Okay.
Alex and Ben,
Alex and Ben, got it.
meeting for the first time.
First time.
Alex decides to take the initiative and says,
Okay, what does Alex say?
"Hi, I'm Alex. It's great to finally meet you."
Okay, so straightforward.
Right, acknowledging they haven't met before.
Simple.
What happens next?
What does Ben say?
Ben responds with, "Hi, Alex. Nice to meet you too. So how was your weekend?"
He jumps right in with a classic small talk question.
A classic.
I'm guessing that's a deliberate strategy
Absolutely.
to kind of ease into the conversation.
Make it feel less formal.
Exact.
It's a simple question. An open-ended question.
Invites Alex to share,
Without feeling pressured.
to reveal anything too personal.
Right, exactly.
So what does Alex say?
Alex replies, "Not bad. I went hiking. How about you?"
Keeps the conversation going.
Nice and casual.
Prompts Ben to share as well.
Exactly. They've successfully navigated that initial awkwardness.
They found some common ground.
Right.
It's amazing how quickly those small talk questions...
Can really create a sense of camaraderie.
For sure. Now let's shift gears a little
Right.
to a different setting.
Okay.
A social event.
Ooh, a party.
A party.
These can be tricky.
Yeah, especially if you don't know many people.
Lots of unfamiliar faces.
You're right, there's often that feeling of,
Where do I even begin?
okay, what do I do?
But remember those idioms we discussed?
Oh, yeah.
They can be really helpful in these situations.
Let's hear an example.
Okay.
Who are our characters this time?
Okay, so this time we have Sarah.
Here.
She spots someone standing alone at the party,
Okay, Sarah's at the party.
and she decides to approach him.
Bold move.
She says, "Hi, I don't think we've met. I'm Sarah."
So she acknowledges they're strangers.
Right. Introduces herself.
What does he say?
He replies, "Hi, Sarah. I'm John. Nice to meet you. What brings you here?"
Oh, that's a good question.
A clever one.
Instead of just saying, oh, I'm here with friends,
It takes it a step further.
invites Sarah to elaborate a bit.
You got it.
So it encourages her to share,
A little bit about her connection to the event.
which can lead to a more engaging conversation.
Exactly.
And Sarah could say something like,
Like what?
I'm here with a friend from work. We decided to check out the party scene.
Okay.
Then John could ask about her work.
Or what kind of party scene they were expecting.
Right. It's a great way to find that common ground.
Exactly. So for our final scenario,
Okay, last one.
let's picture a newcomer moving into a neighborhood.
Okay, new to the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a chance to show how a little kindness can go a long way.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And those ice-breaking phrases.
To make someone feel welcome
So true. Even the simplest gestures.
can really make a difference.
Who are we picturing this time?
All right, so this time we have Lisa, a longtime resident.
Okay.
She spots a new neighbor, Mark, unpacking boxes.
Oh, just moved in.
Lisa casually strolls over and says, "Hi, welcome to the neighborhood. I'm Lisa. I live next door."
Nice and friendly.
Welcoming,
Introducing herself.
even establishing that proximity.
Which can be reassuring for someone new.
Absolutely.
What does Mark say?
Mark could respond with, "Thanks, Lisa. I'm Mark. It's nice to meet you."
Okay, polite.
And to really put Mark at ease, Lisa could continue with, "If you need anything or have questions about the area, feel free to ask."
That's the key.
Goes beyond just being polite.
Yeah.
It shows genuine care,
Willingness to help.
which can be so invaluable.
For someone who's new.
Exactly.
So it's a small gesture.
But it can make a big impact
On how welcome Mark feels.
in his new surroundings.
For sure, these scenarios really highlight.
What do they highlight?
Well, how these idioms aren't just about memorizing phrases.
Not just about the words themselves.
It's about understanding the meaning
Yeah,
and using them strategically
in those social situations.
to navigate those awkward moments.
Exactly.
Now, before we move on, I
Okay.
want to challenge our listeners.
Oh, I like a challenge.
Imagine yourself at a networking event.
Networking event.
You see someone you'd like to talk to?
Okay.
What's your opening line?
Keep it simple and friendly.
Like what?
You could approach them and say, "Hi, I'm your name. What do you do?"
Okay, so straightforward.
Right.
But what if you want to go beyond that?
Beyond just introductions.
Yeah, how do you move from that initial
To a
introduction?
more engaging conversation.
Exactly, how do you do that?
Well, that's where those active listening skills come in
Oh, yeah.
and those well-placed follow-up questions.
Okay, can you give an example?
Okay, so let's say the person responds with, "I'm a software engineer."
All right, software engineer.
You could follow up with, "Oh, that's interesting. What kind of software do you work on?"
So you're demonstrating that curiosity
Inviting them to elaborate.
instead of just saying, oh, that's cool,
Right.
and ending it there.
Exactly.
So depending on their response,
You can tailor your next question.
to keep that conversation flowing,
You might ask about their favorite programming language.
or the challenges of their job.
You could even ask how they got into software engineering.
It's all about finding those points of connection.
Those shared interests.
That can really make a difference.
Turn a brief introduction into something more.
More meaningful.
Right.
Now, before we wrap up this section,
Okay.
I want to emphasize something important.
What's that?
Breaking the ice isn't just about the words.
Oh, it's more than that?
It's about your nonverbal communication, too.
Body language plays a huge role.
Absolutely.
Eye contact, smiling.
Having an open posture
It can really make a difference.
in how people respond to you.
Shows that you're engaged and interested.
So it's that combination
Of words and nonverbal cues.
that really creates a positive first impression.
Exactly.
And once the ice is broken,
They can build on that.
with those small talk strategies,
Yeah, we talked about earlier.
it's like any skill, the more you practice.
The more confident you become.
So true. So we've explored some practical strategies.
Share those initial moments of conversations.
But I'm curious to delve a little deeper
Deeper into what?
into the cultural significance of these idioms, particularly in English-speaking cultures.
What can you tell us about that? It's important to remember that cultural norms can vary.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Around conversations, I mean,
Different parts of the world do things differently.
while breaking the ice and small talk are common,
In a lot of English-speaking cultures,
right?
they might not be as prevalent
Or hold the same significance.
in other parts of the world.
Exactly.
So understanding those cultural nuances is key,
To navigating social situations.
especially if you're interacting with people from different backgrounds.
Absolutely.
Give me an example.
For example, in some cultures,
Okay.
jumping straight into business is perfectly acceptable,
Oh, wow.
while in others, it's considered rude.
You have to engage in some small talk first.
It's like learning the unspoken rules of a game.
Interesting way to think about it.
You need to understand those rules
The etiquette.
to play effectively.
Okay, so back to breaking the ice.
All right.
Let's go back to the 1600s.
To those icebreaker ships.
Carving through the ice.
It was a remarkable feat of engineering,
They must have faced so many challenges.
navigating those waters.
And it's that act of breaking through barriers.
That gives this idiom its power
We use breaking the ice to overcome those initial social obstacles.
and create a smoother flow of interaction,
Like those ships were the original social facilitators.
paving the way.
Now, does small talk have a similar historical backstory?
It doesn't have quite as clear-cut of an origin story,
Okay.
but its significance has evolved over time
How did it become such an integral part
of social interaction.
in those cultures?
Well, social norms are constantly shifting.
Well, small talk wasn't always as prevalent.
Not necessarily, no.
Just
As societies became more complex.
more interactions with strangers.
Right.
So the need for a way to quickly establish rapport,
Became more important.
that makes sense.
Small talk helps us navigate those potentially awkward moments.
It's like a way of saying, hey, I'm friendly.
Let's see if we have anything in common.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it might seem superficial
But it serves a valuable purpose.
in our social interactions
For sure.
and its significance in English-speaking cultures
Reflects the emphasis on politeness.
on building rapport.
Before diving into those more serious topics.
Now, before we move on,
Okay.
let's go back to putting someone at ease.
All right.
We talked about offering drinks,
Making introductions.
but what are some other ways to create that welcoming atmosphere
It comes down to being mindful,
of the other person's feelings?
trying to anticipate their needs.
Put yourself in their shoes.
For example, if you're hosting a dinner party,
Okay, dinner party.
you might ask your guests about dietary restrictions.
Make sure everyone feels included.
Or if you're introducing someone new to a group,
Okay, new to a group.
you might explain the dynamics of the group
Mention some shared interests.
to help them feel more connected.
Those small gestures can really make a difference
And helping someone feel at ease.
in a new situation.
Now, Before we wrap up this deep dive
Okay.
into the art of starting conversations,
Mm-hmm.
I want to offer our listeners a final challenge.
Ooh, I love a challenge.
I want you to think back to those scenarios we discussed.
Meeting new colleagues,
Navigating a party.
welcoming a new neighbor?
Imagine yourself in one of those situations.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
And consider how you would use the idioms and strategies we've explored.
To create those smooth conversations
It's like a mental rehearsal.
for real-life interactions.
Exactly. The more you practice.
The more natural it becomes.
So be prepared.
Be mindful
Be open to those opportunities for connection.
that present themselves every day.
And remember,
What should we remember?
those initial moments of conversation,
They could have a ripple effect,
leading to new friendships,
do collaborations,
maybe even unexpected adventures.
words to live by.
Absolutely.
I think it's time for a quick recap.
Of the key insights we've uncovered.
Let's revisit those essential idioms and strategies.
That can help you navigate those first words with confidence.
Okay? Time to rewind and revisit some of those conversational gems.
We've uncovered quite a few today.
We started with breaking the ice
Ah, yes, that crucial first step
to ease the tension.
and create that pathway for connection
And we uncovered its historical link.
to those powerful icebreaker ships.
Carving through the ice in the 1600s
It's amazing how that literal act of breaking barriers.
translates so well to our social interactions.
It really is.
And speaking of adapting, we explored the art of small talk.
Those everyday conversations.
That might seem insignificant, but actually play a huge role in building rapport.
Especially in English-speaking cultures.
We talked about why it's so crucial in those cultures,
Establishing trust.
signaling approachability.
Before diving into those more serious topics,
And we didn't just stop at definitions.
we gave you some practical
To
strategies.
master those small talk moments,
From practicing common questions.
to being prepared with those follow-up responses.
And we even touched on nonverbal communication.
The importance of a smile,
Eye contact.
an open posture
All of that can make a big difference.
in those initial interactions.
But the real magic happened.
When we saw those idioms in action,
We walked through those scenarios.
meeting new colleagues,
Navigating a party.
welcoming a new neighbor,
And those scenarios really brought those concepts to life.
showing how a well-placed question or a genuine attempt to put someone at ease
Can transform those potentially awkward moments.
into opportunities for connection.
Exactly. And throughout our deep dive, we've emphasized
That it's not just about memorizing phrases. It's about understanding the meaning behind them.
and using them strategically to enhance your communication skills.
It's about being mindful of the other person,
Respecting those cultural nuances.
approaching those interactions with a genuine desire to connect.
Exactly.
So as you step out into the world,
Remember those ice-breaking strategies?
embrace those small talk moments.
And see what amazing conversations unfold.
Who knows?
That simple act of reaching out could spark a new friendship,
Ignite a collaboration.
or even lead to an unexpected adventure.
Those are words to live by.
Absolutely.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive.
Until next time, happy conversing.